Clinton taking the gloves off and hitting Donald Trump hard. She made her sharpest criticism of him to date, calling him a fraud for his role at Trump University.
Her attack comes after many, including some of our own local politician experts, have wondered why she's failed to jump on him harder and more often. For more on Clinton's attack on Trump's character, we turn to KCAL 9 political reporter Dave Bryan.
And, you know, last night we did talk with a panel of experts about this issue. You know, the question, some Democrats apparently fear that the campaign has been too late and too little in attacking Donald Trump. Maybe the campaign people were watching. New fiery exchanges in the race for president tonight as both Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton take aim at one another. The presidential campaign rolls back into California with the primary just 5 days away as both Trump and Clinton ramped up the language. Donald Trump returned to California with a big rally in Sacramento Wednesday evening. And after warming up by going after the news media, calling them bad people, Trump lowered the boom on Hillary Clinton, talking about her endorsement by Governor Jerry Brown.
He said, I want crooked Hillary. I want that crook to run my country.
And he charged she violated the law with her emails.
She broke federal law by putting her emails on a secret private server that foreign countries could easily get to and hack. I mean, folks, if anybody else but her did this, they'd be in jail 2 years already. I mean, honestly, she should not be allowed to run. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace to the laws of our country.
Clinton has not been indicted or charged with violating federal law in the email case, but her email server practices are the focus of a long-running FBI investigation. However, Trump's charges may be payback, since Clinton has now jumped on Trump in the developing Trump University lawsuit with her strongest language yet, calling him a fraud.
This is just more evidence that Donald Trump himself is a fraud.
Clinton was referring to newly released federal documents from the Trump University lawsuit.
You can't make this up.
She quoted managers at the now-defunct university who said the real estate school's business model was a total scam that preyed on the elderly and uneducated.
Trump and his employees took advantage of vulnerable Americans, encouraging them to max out their credit cards, empty their retirement savings, destroy their financial futures, all while making promises they knew were false from the beginning.
And Clinton used some of Trump's own tactics in attacking him, sending out a barrage of tweets calling Trump University a con that intentionally put people at risk. Wednesday evening, Trump fired back with his own tweet, saying crooked Hillary Clinton is a fraud who has put the public and country at risk by her illegal and very stupid use of emails, many missing. A new Quinnipiac poll gave both candidates low marks for trustworthiness, but Trump scored slightly better. CBS News reports the newly released documents on orders of the judge in the Trump University case include company playbooks, which gave company employees tips on the psychology of the sale, urging them to use personal information to recruit prospective students easily swayed by hopes of financial gain. For example, a single parent of 3 children who may need money for food. They were lured by free workshops where they were pressed to take more courses, one of which cost nearly $35,000.
That's what it's all about, success. It's going to happen to you.
The courses that I took were outstanding.
Now under fire, the Trump campaign released a video showing 3 former students who say their experience at Trump U was a game changer for them. But former student Gary Smith told CBS News he had a different story.
I didn't get any financial gain. It's been a big time net loss at this point.
Now, CBS News reports tonight that about 40% of the former students at Trump University are now asking for a refund. So the student body is pretty divided on this as well.
You know, Dave, last week, Trump attacked the judge in the Trump University case, and then today these new documents come out.
Yeah.
Is there any connection to that, you think?
I don't think it's a coincidence.
Yeah.
I do think there is a connection, and here's what it is. This week, as you indicated, Trump took the unusual step of attacking the judge in the Trump University case at a presidential campaign rally, calling him very unfair, and pointed out the judge happens to be Mexican, and then going off on the judge in a 10 or 15-minute diatribe. So now CBS News reports the judge ordered the documents in the case, which had been confidential, released, charging that Trump's tirade placed the integrity of the court proceedings at issue. And now CBS News chief legal correspondent Jan Crawford reports the judge is trying to roll back his order, saying he mistakenly released some documents that contain personal information on some of the students. Jeff?